Hello, my name is Haneke. I will talk about Carl Rogers' personality theory. Carl Rogers was a humanistic psychologist who agreed with the main assumptions of Abraham Maslow. However, Rogers added that for a person to grow, they need an environment that provides them with genius, acceptance, and empathy. Without these relationships and healthy personalities will not develop as they should, much like a tree will not grow without sunlight and water. Rogers believed that every person could achieve their goals, wishes, and desires in life. When, or rather if they did so, self-actualization took place. This was one of Carl Rogers' most important contributions to psychology. And for a person to reach their potential, a number of factors must be satisfied. So let's talk about self-actualization. Uh, the, the definition of self-actualization you can see here. The organism has one basic tendency and striving to actualize, maintain, and enhance the experiencing organism. Rogers rejected the deterministic nature of both psychoanalysis and behaviorism and maintained that we behave as we do because of the way we perceive our situation. As no one else can know how we perceive, we are the best experts on ourselves. Carl Rogers believed that humans have one basic motive, that is the tendency to self-actualize, to fulfill one's potential and achieve the highest level of human beings we can. Like a flower that will grow to its full potential if the conditions are right, but which is constrained by its environment, so people will flourish and reach their potential if their environment is good enough. However, unlike a flower, the potential of the individual human is unique and we are meant to develop in different ways according to our personality. Rogers believed that people are inherently good and creative. They become destructive only when a poor self-concept or external constraints override the value process. Carl Rogers believed that for a person to achieve self-actualization, they must be in a state of congruence. This means that self-actualization occurs when a person's ideal self, who they really would like to be, is congruent with their actual behavior. It is our self-image. Rogers describes an individual who is actualizing as a fully functioning person. The main determinant of whether we will become self-actualized is childhood experience. The fully functioning person. Uh, Rogers believed that every person could achieve their goal. This means that the person is in touch with the here and now, his or her subjective experience and feelings continually growing and changing. In many ways, Rogers regarded the fully functioning person as an ideal and one that people do not ultimately achieve. It is wrong to think of this as an end or completion of life's journey. Rather, it is a process of always becoming and changing. And Rogers, in this slide, you can see identified five characteristics of the fully functioning person. First one is open to experience. Um, it means both positive and negative emotions accepted. Negative feelings are not denied, but works through rather than resorting to ego defense mechanisms. Second is existential living, in touch with different experiences as they occur in life, avoiding prejudging and preconceptions. being able to live and fully appreciate their present, not always looking back to the past or forward to the future. And third one is trust feelings. Feelings, instincts, and gut reactions are paid attention to and trusted. People's own decisions are the right ones, and we should trust ourselves to make the right choices. And the fourth is creativity. Creative thinking and risk-taking are features of person's life. A person doesn't play safe all the time. This involves the ability to adjust and change and seek new experiences. And fifth is fulfilled life. The person is happy and satisfied with life and always looking for new challenges and experiences. For Rogers, fully functioning people are well adjusted, well balanced, and interesting to know. Often, such people are high achievers in society. Uh, Personality development. Central to Rogers' personality theory is the notion of self or self-concept. This is defined as an organized, consistent set of perceptions and beliefs about oneself. The self is a humanistic term for who we really are as a person. The self is our inner personality and can be likened to the soul or Freud's psyche. The self is influenced by the experiences a person has in their life and our interpretation of those experiences. Two primary sources that influence our self-concept are childhood experiences and evaluation by others. Uh, According to Rogers, we want to feel, experience, and behave in ways which are consistent with our self-image and which reflect what we would like to be like or our ideal self. The closer our self-image and ideal self are to each other, the more consistent or congruent we are, and the higher our sense of self-worth. A humanistic approach states that the self is composed of concepts unique to ourselves. The self-concept includes three components: self-worth, self-image, and ideal self. Self-worth comprises what we think about ourselves. Rogers believes feelings of self-worth developed in early childhood and we were formed from the interaction of the child with the mother and father. Self-image, how we see ourselves, which is important to good psychological health. Self-image includes the influence of our body image on inner personality. At a simple level, we might perceive ourselves as a good or bad person, beautiful or ugly. Self-image affects how a person thinks, feels, and behaves in the world. And the third one, ideal self. This is the person who we would like to be. It consists of four goals and ambitions in life and is dynamic, forever changing. The ideal self in childhood is not the ideal self in our teens or late 20s. Positive regard and self-worth. Carl Rogers viewed the child as having two basic needs: positive regard from other people and self-worth. How we think about ourselves, our feelings of self-worth are of fundamental importance both to psychological health and to the likelihood that we can achieve goals and ambitions in life and achieve self-actualization. Self-worth may be seen as continuum from very high to very low. For Carl Rogers, a person who has a high self-worth, that is, has confidence and positive feelings about him or herself, faces challenges in life, accepts failure and unhappiness at times, and is open with people. Unconditional positive regard. Unconditional positive regard is where parents, significant others, accepts and loves the person for what he or she is. Positive regard is not withdrawn if the person does something wrong or makes a mistake. The consequences of conditional positive regard are that the person feels free to try things out and make mistakes, even though this may lead to getting it worse at times. People who are able to self-actualize are more likely to have receive unconditional positive regard from others, especially their parents in childhood. Uh, so let's talk about conditional positive regard. Conditional positive regard is whether positive regard, praise, and approval depend upon the child, for example, behaving in ways that parents think correct. Hence, the child is not loved for the person he or she, but of condition that he or she behaves only in ways approved by parents. And the next one is about congruence. A person's ideal self may not be consistent with what actually happens in life and experiences of a person. A difference may exist between a person's ideal self and actual experience. This is called incongruence, where a person's ideal self and actual experience are consistent or very similar. A state of congruence exists. Rarely, if ever, does a total state of congruence exist. All people experience a certain amount of incongruence. Here in picture you can see incongruent model and congruent. So in incongruent picture, the self-image is different to the ideal self. There is only a little overlap. Here self-actualization will be difficult. And in congruent picture, the self-image is similar to the ideal self. There is a more overlap. This person can be self-actualized. The development of congruence is dependent on unconditional positive regard. Carl Rogers believed that for a person to achieve self-actualization, they must be in a state of congruence. According to Rogers, we want to feel, experience, and behave in a way which are consistent with our self-image, which reflect that we would like to be like our ideal self. The closer our self-image and ideal self are to each other, the more consistent or congruent we are, and the higher our sense of self-worth. A person is said to be in a state of incongruence if some of the totality of their experience is unacceptable to them and is denied or distorted in their self-image. The last slide, I would like you to show Carl Rogers' quotes. The very essence of the creative is its novelty, and hence we have no standard by which to judge it. The next one. I have gradually come to one negative conclusion about the good life. It seems to me that the good life is not any fixed state. It is not, in my estimation, a state of virtue or contentment or nirvana or happiness. It is not a condition in which the individual is adjusted or fulfilled or actualized. To use psychological terms, it is not a state of drive reduction or tension reduction or homeostasis. The good life is a process, not a state of being. It is a direction, not a destination. So thank you.